Good evening, students. So we have completed quite a number of chapters till now in terms of setting the basic structures very strong. And your participation has been really appreciative that you're able to participate and ask through your relevant questions. So it is really showing that yes, you have keen interest in the subject, and I'm seeing students who have been regularly attending and really taking the best out of this, because this is the time when you can have a external person who can teach you into the subject. Because when you start reading the book by yourself, then if you have any kind of doubts or any kind of queries, you will be lost because there's no person to help you there. Of course, the study material and lot of references are there, but a personalized approach like this, wherein you can ask the questions immediately, you will not get this opportunity. So I'm really happy that students are participating and taking the best use of this. To repeat that, there are video classes on a full-fledged manner, wherein full-fledged classes of these subjects have been taken place. You have to go through them to understand the in-depth analysis, okay? Because a more detailed approach is taken care, and then a problem-solving session is also taken up. So wherein specific questions in relation to various chapters, and in some cases, consolidation of chapters has also been taken up. So you have to go through those questionnaires, go through those problem-solving sessions, and then you will get complete confidence in the subject. Okay. So before we proceed with today's session, I have some question, and keep putting your questions whenever you have, so that at an appropriate point of time, I will take it up and answer your queries. So Nishtala is asking, I have a doubt regarding a auction sale. Who issues invoice in case of an auction? So generally what happens, a auction is taken care, let's take in case of two categories. One, when there is a government auction, and one, there is a private auction. In case there is a government auction, the person or the government authority or government entity who wants to sell something, they will give an auction, and there will be a lot of bids. Bids is that I want to participate in the auction, so I will give something called as a EMD, which is called as earnest money deposit, saying that this is the basic deposit which you have to give to participate in the bid. Some part is refundable, some may not be refundable. And if it is not refundable, and if the person who wins it, he is liable that, okay, you can adjust that deposit which I've given against the money which I have to pay you. So that is how the auction works. In case of an auction, there is a company who can directly auction, but government is regulated, saying that there should be one auctioning authorities. So generally all these e-auctions happen through another government authority. So this government authority will act as an intermediary between the selling government company in our case and lot of auctioneers who want to participate. The invoice, when the sale has been confirmed, it will be raised by this government entity which is selling its goods to the ultimate customer. So what happens to the auctioneer in between then? He will raise his service charges or auctioning charges. He will raise that, but primarily invoice will be raised from the authority or the company which wants to sell to a end customer. And this similar thing happens in case of a non-government entity also, that they will appoint an auctioning agency. Auctioneer will do all the marketing for making the auction successful and spreading it and complying with all the regulations. Once he does that, then there will be people who will come and bid for this, and one of them who will qualify will take the auction, and an invoice will be raised by the company to this person. So even in case a auctioneer is appointed, auctioneer will raise his service charges to generally to the selling company, and he will take away his charges unless there is a different scenario, which is in very remote cases that you sell your goods to the auctioneer and auctioneer will be the buyer. He will buy the goods and then he will sell it. That is possible, but very, very remote cases. Practically, we have not seen any of such things happen. Good evening, Pooja. Good evening, Sumit. Good evening, Nishtala. So, are you ready for today's session? Can we start on a very new topic? Because this topic of place of supply wasn't there in the syllabus. It was there only for final level. But in the last attempt onwards, this new chapter has been introduced in your syllabus, and place of supply is there in your syllabus from last attempt onwards. Okay. So before getting into what is a place of supply, yes, already very good. So what is a place of supply is uh, we know what is interstate supply, what is intrastate supply, right? What are the two things which are important? The location of supplier and place of supply. Okay, so when we say the location of supplier, you remember that graph which I had shown in the chart which I had shown, where the location of supplier and place of supply, both of them are in the same state. Then it is an intrastate supply. And when the location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states, then it is an interstate supply. Correct. Now, if I give you an example, now you tell me what will be the place of supply of in this example. Now, I am a chartered accountant. I travel to my native place in Tamil Nadu through a train. Now, when I travel through the train, it is a 5 to 6 hours journey. Now, I onboard my train in Bangalore railway station. So when I am traveling in the train, a very practical scenario I'm giving that when I travel by a train, I meet my co-passengers and one of them just have a discussion and he's a doctor and I'm a chartered accountant. So when we had this discussion, generally he thought, okay, what are you doing? I said, I'm a chartered accountant and we just had a discussion. Then he started asking his queries on saying that I have my income tax. Should I pay income tax on this? And how do I save my capital gains? Lot of questions generally come that how do I save on my capital gains? Should I pay taxes on this or no? And things like that. So he is asking this. While we were traveling to Chennai, we have to touch another city, which is another state. Okay. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. I'm traveling from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, but because of the border, we have to touch a Andhra Pradesh state and then go to the Tamil Nadu. So while he was asking me this query, we touched Andhra's border probably. And then I had answered his query there saying that this is the tax and the capital gain. Whatever you have earned, how can you save? How can you claim the benefit of Section 54F? That's what I advised to him. And then we reached Tamil Nadu. Now he thanked me saying that, okay, your advice was very valuable. And I thanked him by giving him an invoice saying that you have taken a very good advice. Thank you very much. And I gave him an advice. And I gave him an advice, of course, and an invoice. Now, in this transaction, I am providing him a service, right? It is a supply of service. Now, what is the place of supply in this example? What will be the place of supply? What do you think? The place of supply is Andhra Pradesh. Okay. I'm getting one answer saying it is Andhra Pradesh. What are others' view? Location of supplier. Okay, so where is the location of supplier? If CA is registered, then his registered place, otherwise Karnataka. Okay, so you mean to say if the CA is not registered, then still place becomes Karnataka? Bangalore. Okay, I think where service is consumed. Service is consumed. Oh, has he consumed there? So he will apply that opinion what I give in Tamil Nadu. So will that Tamil Nadu becomes the place of supply? Because you are saying coming up, Sumit, with the logic that it is where it is consumed. Did he just digest it and he didn't do anything? He's not digested it. He will go to his place and pay me invoice from his place. So he is digesting it or he's consuming it in Tamil Nadu. So will the place of supply becomes Tamil Nadu? No, otherwise the place where he's embarked in train, that is Karnataka. Okay. So many options, right? So imagine that we are any more answers? Like I've got two answers, one some saying Karnataka on some logic, some saying Andhra Pradesh. I have come up with the answer that it can be Tamil Nadu because that is the place actually where it is consumed. So I think most of you are sticking with two answers that it can either be Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh. But imagine that we ourselves are confused with the simplest example. I've given you a very simple, of course, it is practical example. We can connect it because we have seen this happen. But there are services which are so very complex. Okay, in case of software services, software is developed by somewhere, the cloud is somewhere, the person who is developing the uh, code is somewhere, the person using it is somewhere, the licensing is somewhere. So many things happen. Okay, so that's the reason in case of services, the place of supply is very, very difficult to find out. At least in terms of goods, I will sell goods to you. You are there in your state of Haryana. Haryana is the place of supply because I've transferred the goods to you. I will have records and documents to show that the goods are delivered at your location. You will give me a gate pass. All of those documents are there to prove that this your place of supply is Haryana. My supply is happening in Haryana. Okay. But in case of services, where is the service being provided? Where is the service being used? Cannot be found out so easily. Okay. That's why this chapter on place of supply is so very important that we need to understand what is the place of supply so that we are itself getting confused on which state it will come. Imagine so many volume of transaction happens. So then what will happen to the state government? They will also have so much of quarrel saying that, no, this is my revenue. Andhra will tell this is my revenue. Karnataka will tell this is my revenue and Tamil Nadu will tell this is my revenue. Correct? So there will be lot of chaos if the place of supply is not defined. What we understand as a place of supply is different, and what actually is place of supply is different. That's why there is a special section under the GST law which says that forget all of that. What is the place of supply? I will define. Now, this can be actual consumption or non-actual consumption. This is what is being stated. So even if I feel that no, it should be in Andhra Pradesh because that is where it is actually consumed. This law will tell that no, what I will tell that will prevail, because that is the intention of this section, to determine the place of supply. So wherever this section decides, that will be the place of supply. Okay. So now you understood the importance of this section and importance of this chapter. Now, before we get into the actual sections, let us understand what is a B2B transaction and B2C transaction. When you transfer from one business to another business, that is, when you are registered and the recipient is also registered, it is called as a B2B transaction. And another transaction is B2C supply, wherein a business who is a registered person who transfers or who sells the goods or services to another person who is an unregistered person. That's a B2C transaction. So when I go and buy a biscuit packet, I don't give my GST registration number. In that case, I'm a B2C, because the person who's selling that biscuit from the shop, he will sell it, he will show in his return that it's a B2C transaction. But if I give my registration number and claim the credit, okay, if the supplier has my GST details, then it's a B2B transaction. Okay, that's the meaning of B2B and B2C. We'll be using a lot of places these terms, B2B and B2C. Now, what is the place of supply for goods is what we will start with. And then we'll go to the place of supply of services, because place of supply also of goods also can have various complications. So this is also being defined. The rules, what will this section, what we have seen here, section 10 of the IGST Act, the place of supply of goods and the place of supply of services is defined under the IGST Act. And the provisions of place of supply applies to CGST and SGST also, because these are all consolidated or interconnected acts. So whatever definition is there in CGST, that applies for IGST, and wherever provisions of IGST is specifically mentioning special things like exports is defined only under the IGST Act. Place of supply is defined only under the IGST Act. So the provisions of the IGST Act will apply to CGST and SGST also. Okay, so place of supply of goods, जो section 10 of the IGST Act है, वो क्या बताता है कि आपका place of supply कहाँ पे रहेगा, कौन से सिनारियोज में, अलग अलग सिनारियोज में. पहला सिनारियो है जब सप्लाई के लिए आपको गुड्स मूव करना है. एक और सिनारियो है जब सप्लाई के लिए आपको गुड्स मूव नहीं करना है. फिर बिल टू शिप टू ट्रांजैक्शन में क्या होगा, फिर सप्लाई जहां पे गुड्स मूवमेंट नहीं हो रहा है, और फिर सप्लाई जहां पे आप गुड्स को असेंबल कर रहे हो या इंस्टॉल कर रहे हो, और फिर लास्ट में जब गुड्स आप ऑन बोर्ड कन्वेंस, जैसे आप बस में जा रहे हो, ट्रेन में जा रहे हो, उस समय आप कुछ सप्लाई करते हो, तब उसके लिए क्या प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई लगेगा. सो व्हाट इज दिस सेक्शन 10 सेइंग? सेक्शन 10 इज ट्राइंग टू प्रोवाइड द रूल्स, okay, to determine the place of supply. First scenario is where the supply involves movement of goods. Second is when the supply does not involve movement of goods. Third scenario is when there is a bill to ship to transaction. I will come to each of this in detail. So this is what the section is trying to say. First, 10(1)(a) is what is the place of supply of goods in where the supply involves movement of goods. When there is a supply involving movement of goods. Now, what do you mean by movement of goods? Key, it is a supply which involves movement of goods. For doing any supply, there is a movement of goods. Then the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient. Okay. Now goods can be moved either by the supplier or recipient. That is no problem. Now, when I am delivering some goods, when I'm selling some goods to you, you are saying that I will not take the goods at your factory. You have to deliver the goods at my location. Okay. So when I deliver the goods at your location, somebody is noting. Okay. So when I supply goods to you, okay, when I supply the goods to you, sell goods to you, and it is to be delivered at your factory gate, okay, then the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates, where the goods completes its journey, okay, that is the place of supply. Now, when you say goods involving movement of goods, supply involving movement of goods, where you have to move the goods. Okay, where you have to move the goods. That is a scenario where any normal sale happens. जो भी हम normal sale करते हैं वो सब इसमें cover हो जाएगा. No audio. Sumit, is it clear now? I'm not getting any such complaint from others. Clear है, ठीक है. So where the supply involves movement of goods, it can be any goods. When you go to a shop, you buy something, there is a movement of goods, right? So all of the normal scenarios will get covered under the supply involving movement of goods. So to understand this supply involving movement, we'll go through other provisions, then you'll understand. Okay. So where the supply is involving movement of goods, agar in my example I'd given that it has to get uh, delivered at your location, then that is the place of supply. If it has to be delivered at my place itself and you will take the possession at your itself, then the place of supply is my factory gate itself. So where my contractual relationship ends, that is the place where the goods are getting terminated. That will decide the place of supply. Okay. Now let's go to the second scenario. What happens in case of bill to ship to transaction? Okay. What is bill to ship to transaction? When I will explain this with a drawing. I think that's the best I can explain you. Now Ganesh Traders, he is a seller. Okay. He is selling the goods. Who is buying it? Primarily, there is a contract. This is a first contract between Maruti Traders and Ganesh Traders. Maruti Traders is going to Ganesh Traders and saying, boss, I need some goods. Will you sell me? Yes, I will sell you. So who is the seller? Ganesh Traders is the seller. Who is the buyer? Maruti Traders is the buyer. Okay, so he's the seller and he's the buyer. And when the seller is agreeing that he will sell and buyer is agreeing to buy, the goods movement starts. When the goods are starting moving, Maruti Traders calls Ganesh Traders and says, Baba, wait. You are delivering the goods to me. Do me one favor. Don't deliver the goods to me. Deliver to my customer. Because if you sell it to me, I will also sell it to my customer who needs the same quantity of goods. तो full truck जो है आप directly मेरे customer Prime Hardwares को दे दीजिए. Deliver the goods to Prime Hardwares. Boss, I will try to. फिर why are you there? I will not do anything with you. I will give priority to Prime Hardwares and I will collect payment from him. No. You don't have to do anything. I am only telling you, just deliver the goods to him and raise an invoice to me because I will make you payment. Okay. You don't try to cut off me and say that no, you will try deliver to Prime Hardwares. Prime Hardwares will not accept anything like that. If I tell him to accept, only then he'll accept. Otherwise, he will not accept. So you bill it to me and ship it to Prime Hardwares. So this is what is called as bill to and ship to. So you bill to me and ship to Prime Hardwares. In case of a bill to ship to transaction, the normal thing हमने क्या कहा है in normal first scenario where the goods terminate for delivery. In the normal scenario, the goods are getting terminated here. So Prime Hardware's location is the place of supply. Correct? But this second 10(1)(b) says, in case of a bill to ship to transaction, the place of location of the person who is placing order on you. Maruti Traders has placed the order. So the location of Maruti Traders is the place of supply, which is in Karnataka. So you're moving goods from, this is Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu. You're moving goods from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, but you will raise a invoice to Karnataka. Okay, so you will raise an invoice to Karnataka, and for your transaction, place of supply is in Karnataka. Okay, and then Maruti Traders will raise another bill to Prime Hardware because he has to get money from him. That's a second transaction. So in case of a bill to ship to transaction, the entity to whom the seller bills to, he is billing to Maruti Traders. It is in from one state to another state. He will bill IGST. Okay, the person who is given the order, to him you will bill, and the GST will go from that direction. Okay, and then whom you ship to, you do not have any contract with them, so you will just ship it to them. Okay, is that clear in case of a bill to ship to transaction? तो ये हो गया जब it is from 3 different states, we know it is a IGST transaction. What happens in a case where the buyer is also in your state and seller is also in your state? Okay, seller is this, buyer is this. Buyer said, okay, supply goods to me within the state, but as soon as you started dispatching, you've said, no, you ship it to another state. Okay, if you're shipping to another state, क्या होगा? Place of supply is another state to charge IGST, but this 10(1)(b) says that you will charge still CGST and SGST, treating that this is an intrastate supply, because the place of supply in such cases will be the place where you bill this to. Okay, so the billing will happen as CGST and SGST because you're billing within the state of Maharashtra, even though you're shipping to Karnataka. From Maruti Traders, you will bill to Prime Hardwares. You are in 2 different states as a IGST. That is a different transaction. So first transaction will be billing from Ganesh Traders to Maruti Traders of CGST and SGST because both are in Maharashtra. Then Maruti Traders will bill to Karnataka Prime Hardwares as an interstate supply as IGST. Okay. Clear till now? So now let us see what does 10(1)(b) say so that it will make sense. 10(1)(b) says supply involves on a bill to ship to transaction. In case of a bill to ship to transaction, the place of supply of such goods shall be the principal place of business of such third person. Even though he is a primary person, the reference in GST is made to the original buyer as a third person. Okay, so the place of supply of such goods shall be the principal place of business of the such person. In our case, in both the examples, it's been the location of the Maruti Traders. Okay, where goods are delivered by the supplier to the recipient at the instruction of a third person. The place of supply is the principal place of business of such third person and not of the actual recipient. Okay, sir, in this case, if Maruti Traders is unregistered, then also place of supply will be CGST and SGST. Whether it is registered or unregistered, here it doesn't matter. If Maruti Traders has placed an order on you, the place of supply will be where the registered place of Maruti Traders is located at. If Maruti Traders is in same state, then you will charge CGST and SGST. If you are in different state and Maruti Traders is in different state, you will charge IGST. So the place from where you're getting the order is relevant, not whether it is registered or unregistered. Okay? XYZ based in Mumbai places an order in ABC in Delhi for supply of goods. ABC is not having the said goods in stock, so ABC in turn places an order on PQR based in Delhi to supply the goods directly to XYZ. So XYZ will receive the goods, but the amount is to be paid by ABC Limited. So this is how the transaction works. So in this scenario, who will invoice to whom and what GST they will charge? In case Maruti Traders also issues tax invoice to the recipient same trade, it has to issue. It can issue, no, because the goods have moved. So Maruti Traders can issue an invoice to the ultimate customer and it has to issue. Otherwise, how will it receive the payment for the goods which it is moved? So Maruti Traders will also raise an invoice. Yes, please tell me in this scenario, who will raise the invoice to whom and what GST he will charge? Well, it's a very simple fact. ABC will raise an invoice to XYZ. Okay. ABC in turn places an order on PQR. Just bus. ABC raise an invoice. PQR to supply the goods to XYZ. XYZ is receiving goods from PQR. So PQR will not raise any invoice. फ्री में दे रहे हैं. ABC issues invoice to XYZ. Okay. सब लोग यही बोल रहे हैं ABC raise the invoice to XYZ. And somebody is saying PQR will raise the invoice to XYZ. Somebody is saying ABC to XYZ IGST, PQR to ABC CGST and SGST. Come on, think over. Last 1 minute. PQR may also raise. What do you mean may also raise? Is it an optional thing? They should not raise. It has to be in clear terms. Your answers can't be he may raise, if he wants, he may raise. Such answers are not accepted. PQR to ABC, IGST, ABC to XYZ, IGST, PQR supply goods to XY but collect money from ABC. Okay. Seems correct. Let us evaluate that. Let's evaluate to this together. ABC in turn places order on PQR. Okay, so this is PQR. This is in Delhi. PQR to supply the goods directly to XYZ. Okay. PQR will raise an invoice on ABC. XYZ is in Mumbai. ABC is in Delhi. So PQR will raise an invoice on ABC. Even though the goods are moving here, the place of supply, we'll know that on the person who is placing this. So PQR is selling to ABC. So he will raise a, both are in Delhi. So he will raise a C plus S invoice, right? Somebody said PQR will raise to ABC. Somebody was saying PQR will raise to ABC, IGST. No. PQR and ABC both are in the same state. Okay. So it will be CGST and SGST here. Then ABC will raise the invoice to XYZ and this will be IGST because this and this are in different state. Location of supply is D, place of supply in this case will be M. In this case, it will be a IGST transaction. Clear? Correct. Mr. Rai, your answer is correct, but what taxes you will levy, that is also important. Why so much of confusion then? What is your question, Rashmi?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
आइए क्वेश्चन इसमें कंफ्यूजन है कि किसके एंगल से सोचना है। जैसे एबीसी से कंट्रैक्ट हुआ था एक्स वाई जेड को मेनली, तो एबीसी के एंगल से सोचना है। फिर पीक्यूआर को तो ये ऑर्डर दिया है एबीसी ने कि डिलीवर कर दो, तो उसके पास स्टॉक नहीं था, तो एबीसी के साथ एक्स वाई जेड की डिलीवरी मान ली गई, पी के साथ एक्स वाई जेड की डिलीवरी।
तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, बिल टू शिफ्ट हो रहा है। पी किसको बिल कर रहा है, उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किसने दिया है, एबीसी ने दिया है। तो पी बिल करेगा एबीसी को और शिपिंग जो गुड्स डिलीवरी करेगा वो करेगा एक्स वाई जेड को। ठीक है। तो जब मैं बिल कर रहा हूं एबीसी को और शिप कर रहा हूं एक्स वाई जेड को, तो जिसको मैं बिल करूंगा वो हिसाब से मैं डिसाइड करूंगा कि लोकल है या इंटरस्टेट है। अब अगर मैं भी दिल्ली में हूँ और एबीसी भी दिल्ली में है, तो दोनों विद इन द स्टेट हो गए, तब मैं इंट्रा स्टेट सप्लाई चार्ज करके C+S चार्ज करूँ। ठीक है। तो आपको ये दो ट्रांजैक्शन की तरह देखना चाहिए, एक ही ट्रांजैक्शन में दो है, आप दो ट्रांजैक्शन ब्रेक करेंगे तब आपको क्लैरिटी मिलेगा कि मैं तो बिल तो एबीसी को कर रहा हूं, तो फिर मुझे एबीसी का लोकेशन के बेसिस पे मुझे डिसाइड करना है। ठीक है। और फिर सेकेंड ट्रांजैक्शन हो गया एबीसी और एक्स वाई जेड के बीच में। तो एबीसी जो एक्स वाई जेड को बिल करेगा, वो एबीसी तो एक स्टेट में है, एक्स वाई जेड अगर दूसरे स्टेट में है तब वो आईजीएसटी बिल करेगा। क्लियर है अभी? करेक्ट करेक्ट निष्ठाला। ओके, so that is with respect to bill to ship to transactions. Now let's proceed further on another type of transaction, that is place of supply of goods where the supply is not involving movement of goods. Okay. In first scenario where we saw, there were general scenario of where the supply involves movement of goods. Now in this scenario, the supply is not involving the movement of goods. In this case, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Okay. In case there is no movement of goods, okay, in this supply transaction, then the place of supply is the location of the goods, not location of the goods at the time of delivery. It is location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. क्या एग्जाम्पल हो सकता है इसमें? इट इज अ साइट ऑफिस या फिर ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिस है जहां पे यू आर डूइंग समथिंग and the goods are already there at the customer's location. You are only apportioning it. Okay. Say in case of a batching plant. In case of a batching plant, you are continuously producing cement at the client's location where a real estate is being developed. In that case, you don't have to involve movement of goods because the goods are already being manufactured or being produced there. So once this production happens, the goods are already there at the customer's location. You don't have to move it to them. So in that case, the such place of supply is the location where the goods are located at the time of delivery to the recipient. Okay, that is the example of this scenario of place of supply of goods, where the supply is not involving any movement. Okay, let us understand this with another example. I am owner of this. I'm a tenant of this building. And in this building, I have fans, I have lights. Okay. Now I'm vacating this. So I've told my owner that I will remove all of this and go. So the owner said, if you break this, what will you get? No advantage for you. So you hand over the place to me in this position itself. The new tenant who comes, he will buy the fans and the light so that it will be in the same position. Okay. So in that case, there is no movement of goods, but you're selling it because fans and lights are not immovable property. ठीक है, fix कर दिया है ताकि the function works in such a way. So you have to understand what is a movable property and what is an immovable property. If it is movable, it has to actually move. If it is immovable, it should be at one place. Now, something like a light, is it movable? You have already fixed it with the holder. So it becomes an immovable. So can you say it is an immovable property? No, it is not an immobile property. It is still a movable property because you can remove it and place it somewhere else. Correct? So just because it is attached to a window, attached to a wall, it doesn't become an immobile property. What is an immobile property? Any property which you are attaching. Suppose आप इसके ऊपर ही एक और floor construct कर देते हो. That is an immobile property. A window which is fixed is an immobile property. But lights and fans are actually movable, but for the use and convenience, you're fixing it. So in such case, it is still a movable property. So for such movable properties, the place of supply is where they are located. Now I left the fans and lights here itself. The buyer has come from another state. So will the place of supply be another state? No. The place of supply will be the location of the goods. These goods are located here. So this is the place of supply. Clear है ये? ठीक है. So the place of supply is where the goods are located at the time of delivery to the recipient. This is the place of supply of goods in case of supply not involving movement of goods. Then another scenario is where the supply involves installation or assembly of goods. Where the supply involves installation or assembly of goods. Yeah, in case of mobile goods, but due to same region, some reason, same region use is also same place. नहीं समझा नहीं आपका क्वेश्चन रश्मि.
Sir, it means here not talking in the immovable property ना. Movable property है पर उसका कोई भी रीजन से यूज सेमी प्लेस पे होगा जहाँ पे वो फिक्स है. बायर ऑल्सो यूज करेगा. मतलब इन केस में इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी की इसमें बात नहीं हो रही है ना.
करेक्ट. इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी तो गुड्स के डेफिनेशन से बाहर निकल गया है. करेक्ट. हमने लास्ट क्लास देखा था ना, गुड्स के डेफिनेशन में जो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है वो तो गुड्स है ही नहीं. तो अगर आप बिल्डिंग बेचते हो, आपका लैंड बेचते हो, उसके ऊपर तो जीएसटी लगेगा ही नहीं. करेक्ट. बिकॉज ऑन इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी देयर इज नो जीएसटी. जीएसटी इज ओनली देयर ऑन मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी. तो आप किसी वजह से आप आपका जो प्रॉपर्टी सेल कर रहे हो उसके अंदर के गुड्स बेच रहे हो, तब दिस कंडीशन विल अप्लाई. ठीक है. Then in case of installation or assembly of goods, where you have to fit a example of a lift. Okay, लिफ्ट को आप बेच सकते हो क्या? पूरा का पूरा लिफ्ट बिक सकता है? इतना बड़ा लिफ्ट होता है, कुछ कुछ जगह तो 12-13 फ्लोर भी होता है. तो कैन यू सेल अ लिफ्ट? यस, यू कैन सेल अ लिफ्ट. तो फिर क्या 12 फ्लोर के लिफ्ट के लिए 7-8 ट्रक उसको लेके आएंगे? तो इतना लंबा है ना उसको, फिर इतने बड़े ट्रक में ट्रक के ऊपर ट्रक के ऊपर एक पे ऊपर एक डाल के लाना पड़ेगा. Unnikrishnan, your question is, sir, vendor is registered in different states. Okay, vendor is registered in different states and goods not moving. So if goods are not moving, what are you doing then? You have to give a scenario where you are saying that goods are actually not moving. Lift is supply not involving movement of goods. Movement तो हो रहा है ना निष्ठाला. आपके यहाँ पे थोड़े goods ऑलरेडी फिक्स्ड है. आप एक बिल्डिंग बना रहे हो जहां पे आप you're getting a new lift from the lift making company. So they will manufacture it at their manufacturing unit. So, and it is coming to your location. So this definitely involves movement of goods. Supply involving installation or assembly is like build to ship to नहीं. Supply involve installation और assembly है जहां पे आपका goods install हो रहा है. ठीक है. लिफ्ट इज सप्लाई. जैसे एग्जांपल ऑफ लिफ्ट, जब आप लिफ्ट डालते हो, आप जब लिफ्ट परचेज करते हो आपको पूरा का पूरा लिफ्ट नहीं मिलता है. आपको लिफ्ट जो है वो ब्रेक डाउन कंडीशन या सेमी असेंबल्ड कंडीशन में आता है. मेन पार्ट्स वहां पे असेंबल करते हैं, फिर यहाँ पे आके उसको ब्रेक करके यहाँ पे आपके साइड पे आके उसको सभी पुर्जे लगाते हैं. सभी जो सेमी नॉकडाउन कंडीशन में है, फुल्ली नॉकडाउन कंडीशन या सेमी नॉकडाउन कंडीशन बोलते हैं, जो नॉकडाउन कंडीशन में उसको यहाँ पे फिट करके असेंबल किया जाता है. दैट इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ सप्लाई इन्वॉल्विंग इंस्टॉलेशन और असेंबली at the site. Okay, so in that case lift is a movable property and it is being supplied at a place, at your place, where the it involves some kind of installation or assembly. In such case, the place of supply is the place of such installation or assembly, where you are installing or assembling the goods. That is the place of supply. Okay. तो जब लिफ्ट वाला आके आपके बिल्डिंग में लिफ्ट लगाएगा, तब आप लिफ्ट कहाँ पे लगा रहा है? आपका बिल्डिंग में. तो आपकी बिल्डिंग जो है, दैट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. Okay. Where the last example, last scenario of place of supply, where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance. Okay, where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance. Conveyance means the process of transporting or carrying someone or something from one place to another. मतलब जो भी ट्रेन बस वगैरह में आप जाते हो, everything is a conveyance. In case where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance, including a vessel. Vessel मतलब जो घर पे बर्तन बनाते हैं उसे vessel बोलते हैं ना. That is the meaning of vessel. Please get some vessels, मतलब वही vessel है. तो ये क्या बोल रहा है? वेजल की बात क्यों यहाँ पे आई है? वेसल इंक्लूड्स कंटेनर? नहीं, आप सवाल समझे नहीं हो। तो कंटेनर भी वेसल में आ जाएगा, मतलब क्या हो, आप क्या समझे इन द जनरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट? यस, फ्यू पीपल आर गिवन ऑल एग्जांपल। वेसल इज नॉट कि आपके घर का वेसल, ओके, इट इज ऑल अ क्रूज और शिप जो आप शेयर करते हो, क्रूज में, शिप में जाते हो, दैट इज अ वेसल। Okay, so that is the example of vessel. So when you're traveling, when the goods are supplied on board such conveyance, including a vessel, aircraft, train, or a motorcycle, the place of supply shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board. ठीक है, जहां पे उन goods को चढ़ाया जाता है, where such goods are boarded, that is the place of supply. Irrespective of wherever you consume, that respective state or that respective place cannot be identified. So the place of supply of goods in cases when they are supplied on board a conveyance, when you board a flight, you're boarding from Karnataka, you are reaching Delhi, then you're going to Bombay, then you're reaching Rajasthan. So the flight will not decide that, okay, you have sold it in Mumbai, so I have to pay taxes in Bombay, or you are about to reach in Rajasthan, or you will reach Rajasthan ultimately. So that is where the consumption can happen anywhere, right? So that's why this rule says that where you are supplying anything on board a conveyance, then the supply, place of supply is the location at which such goods are taken on board. Okay. If the goods are boarded, say there's a stop in some other city, in that city, if it is boarded, that will be the place of supply. Place of supply we can decide by seeing the GST registration state of vendor. No, we can't see that. The place of supply is determined by this rule, Krishnan. That is what I was saying just before you joined, that the place of supply, what we think is not the place of supply. Place of supply is determined by these rules. We have to go by the rules and then decide the place of supply. What are taxes levied if they are taxed where such goods are taken on board? What do you mean? When you supply anything, you will levy CGST, SGST, or IGST. You will always levy GST itself. Correct? So if you are supplying something on board a conveyance, then if you are having your office, your registered office in the same state where you're boarding, then that is a intrastate supply. If you're boarding it to some other state, say you are registered in Andhra Pradesh, you have been given a contract to supply all the goods to all the railways. So I have another train which is starting from Karnataka. So you are moving the goods from Andhra Pradesh to Karnataka. So the place of supply is place where it is boarded. So it's boarded in Karnataka. You are registered in Andhra Pradesh. Location of supplier is in Andhra Pradesh. Place of supply is in Karnataka. So it becomes an interstate supply. Okay. Most of the time, what happens? The Indian Railways itself has their own IRCTC. So they will themselves do it. But IRCTC also subcontract sometimes, or IRCTC also has various locations. So based on where they are located and where they board these goods, that will be decided. Okay. So now we have completed with place of supply of goods. Now we'll move to place of supply of services. So 10 said place of supply of goods. Now section 12 will tell us about place of supply of services. What are the elements for deciding place of supply? There are various elements for determining place of supply of services. At least for goods, it was simple, but for services, it is complicated because you have various things over here. You have location of service provider, you have location of service receiver. These two are definitely there. But in case of services, the actual place of performance is different. The place of consumption is different. And the beneficiary place or the person who is the actual beneficiary or who is the actual person who's receiving. The person who is paying the consideration, he is not always the person who is receiving the uh, benefit of this supply. It could be some other person. That's the reason the beneficiary can be a different person. If a customer is registered in different state, material on board on home states of supplier, in this case, place of supply. Uh, Krishnan, I'm not able to get your question. Can you state it clearly? What I understand is if the customer is registered in different state, okay, material on board on home state of supplier, okay, in the home state of the supplier only if he's onboarding it, then the location of supplier is where he's registered. Place of supplier is where you're boarding it. So in that case, it becomes an intrastate supply. Okay. But if it's in a different state, then it will be a IGST supply. It become an interstate supply. Okay. So in case of services, we are seeing there are so many different scenarios which is possible. So that's why the rules for place of supply is very clear. To get into the place of supply, we have to understand the definition of location of recipient of services. The location of recipient of services is very important because the place of supply of services will be how we said B2B, B2C. Similarly, location of recipient of services also will be the end answer in most of this services. So the location of recipient of services will be where the supply is received at the place of business for which registration is obtained. Okay. The location of recipient of services where the supply is received at the place of business for which registration is obtained, then the location of such place of business. If it is at a fixed place establishment elsewhere, then location of such fixed establishment, which means you are registered in one place. Now you are placing the order and saying that it has to be received in your registered premises. Then the place of supply is where that registered premises is located. Second scenario, you are registered in one place, but you have a go down in some other place. Okay. In such scenario, that go down wherever it is located, and you are receiving some service in that go down, then even though you're registered at one place, that will not be the place of supply because it has to be at that place where the services are consumed. If it is consumed at a fixed establishment elsewhere, then such location of the fixed establishment is the location of the recipient. Now, if you have more than one establishment, whether place of business or fixed establishment, then the location of the establishment which is most directly concerned will be the location of the recipient. The location of the establishment which is more directly concerned with the receipt of supply will be the location of the recipient. Okay. And in the absence of any such places, if you are not registered, you don't have a fixed establishment, then the usual place of residence of the recipient will be the place of recipient. So if you're registered, registered place. If you're buying for something else, if you're like buying some water bottle for your staff, which is sitting at your go down and it is being delivered at the go down itself. Go down is a fixed establishment. Then that fixed establishment where it is located, that will be the location of the recipient. Okay, so what does section 12 says? 12 says the place of supply of services where the location of supplier and recipient is in India. Okay, where the location of supplier and place of supply both are in India, then section 12 will come. Even if the location of the supplier or place of supply, one of them is outside India, then you cannot enter this section 12 itself. Okay, so if you are supplying something to a customer who is sitting in United States of America, so what will be the place of supply? That place of supply, to determine the place of supply, you have to go to section 13. If you come to 12 and find the answer, that answer will be wrong because the 12 section doesn't apply to you at all. The 12 section 12 of the IGST Act determining the place of supply will get attracted only when the location of supplier and place of supply, location of supplier and the location of recipient, both of them is in India. Okay. So section 12 are in relation to domestic supply of services. And section 13 are in relation to supply of other services. Now 12.1 said that. Now 12.2 we will go. Fixed establishment and principal place of business, is it same or different? It is different, Mr. Tala. A principal place of business is the place where you have registered at. And fixed establishment is not that registered place, any other place. Okay, like you have a go down, you have a warehouse. All of that is a fixed establishment where it is permanently fixed. Like you have some kind of control over there. Like take an example as a to understand what is not a fixed establishment. You have a project. To do that project, you have to send some people for 3 months over there. So they will do the work for 3 months and come back. So you have some kind of presence there. There is an establishment because some people are sitting there and some kind of staff is sitting there, some which can be located. But that is not a fixed establishment because you're not fixing people and resources there. They are there only for some project and you're coming back. Okay, so it's a project office, it's not a fixed establishment. But if you have a kind of a go down, then you have control over the goods, you have control over the people, and you have interest in that control of goods. Then that go down becomes a fixed establishment. But if it's a temporary place, it's not a fixed establishment. Okay, a fixed establishment is different, principal place of business is different. What is the general rule, rule 12 saying? It says that is rule 12.3 to 12.14 applicable? Yes, then apply that rule. So what is 12.2 saying that was? I will give you guidance. Under section 12, there are rules starting from 12.1, 12.2, 12.3 up to 12.14. So you will get lost. Okay, so you come to 12.2. 12.2 is giving you a direction. It is saying that are any of the specific rules from rule 12.3 to 12.14 applicable to you? If you say yes, then follow it. If none of those rules apply to you, then you go to 12.2. Okay, so 12.2 is a general rule which says that what will be the place of supply in case all of the other rules fail. When all the other rules fails, then you come to me. So 12.2 is the there in the starting, but it has to be referred at the end. So that's why we'll refer to 12.2 at the end. Okay, 12 का जो रूल्स है वो ये बताता है कि आपके लिए स्पेसिफिक रूल्स है. अगर आपके लिए वो स्पेसिफिक रूल्स लागू होते हैं तब आप उन रूल्स के ऊपर अप्लाई कीजिए. लेकिन अगर वो रूल्स अगर अप्लीकेबल नहीं है, आपको कोई भी रूल स्पेसिफिकली इतना दिया है 3 से लेके 14 तक, ठीक है, मतलब क्या हुआ 10 रूल्स है. रूल 12.3 टू 12.14 तक 10 रूल्स है. अगर 10 रूल्स में कोई भी आपको अप्लीकेबल है तो वो जो रूल कहता है वो कीजिए. अगर वो रूल्स अप्लीकेबल नहीं है तो आप मेरे पास आ जाइए. मैं हूँ जनरल रूल, रूल नंबर 12.2. ठीक है, अगर आपको कोई लड़की पसंद आ जाए, गर्लफ्रेंड, आप उनके पास जाइए. अगर आपको कोई पसंद आए हैं तो आपको किसी ने कह दिया कि आप मेरे पास आ जाइए, वो कहानी हो गई. ठीक है, तो 12.2 इज अ जनरल रूल. 12.2 क्या बोलता है वो हम लोग लास्ट में आएंगे, वरना फिर क्या होगा, हम गड़बड़ कर लेंगे. तो 12.3 से लेके 12.14 में जाएंगे, फिर 12.2 आएंगे. ठीक है, या फिर 12.2 आपको पहले करना है क्योंकि जनरल रूल ही मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली सभी केसेस में अप्लाई होते हैं. तो आपको 12.2 में जब फर्स्ट सीखना है या 12.3 टू 12.14 करेंगे, ये बताइए आप. Unikrishnan has now posed a very good question. Customer A is in Kerala. As per his request, goods or services are sent to Karnataka, where supplier is also situated in Karnataka. Okay. Customer A in Kerala, as per his request, goods are sent to Karnataka. Where is it sent from? Okay, Unikrishnan, if it is sent from one state in the same state of Kerala, from Kerala, it is moving to Karnataka. Okay. Then where you are located in Kerala. So the place of supply is a Kerala because customer is in Kerala. As per his request, the goods are moved to Karnataka. So the place of supply for the first transaction is Kerala. For the second transaction, it is Karnataka. Because there are two transactions. It is a example of a bill to billing is happening to you, shipping is happening to Karnataka. So one invoice to you, and you will raise an invoice to the person whom it is shipped to. 12 to last May. Okay. ठीक है 12 to last में करेंगे लेकिन बिफोर गेटिंग इनटू 12/3 लेट्स टेक अ शॉर्ट ब्रेक क्योंकि हम 12/3 से जाएंगे तो फिर वो फ्लो ब्रेक हो जाएगा सो व्हाट विल डू इज विल टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 10 minutes here and then we'll continue on the all the list of services. So we had discussed that we will discuss rule 3 and 14 first and then come to the general rule, right? So we'll start with rule 12.3. 12.3 says, wherever there is services in relation to an immovable property, what will be the place of supply? So 12.3 से 12.14 क्या बोलता है कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई अलग अलग सिचुएशन में प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा. तो हमारा जो एग्जाम्पल था वो भी यहाँ पे फिट हो जाएगा, और जो भी आपके सिनारियोज है वो सब 12.3 में 12.4 में अगर फिट हो जाते हैं तो ये प्रोविजंस आपको प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई डिसाइड करने के लिए कहेंगे. So what 12.3 to 12.14 will say is, what is the place of supply if these special circumstances exist? If these special circumstances exist, then this will be the place of supply. If these circumstances does not exist, then you'll have to go to 12 subsection 2. Okay, now we'll start with these scenarios. First is 12.3, which says, what if there is a services in relation to an immobile property? Okay, not just services of immobile property, services in relation to. Very strong words which have been used here, that services in relation to an immobile property. So it could be directly the rental or any other services in relating to the immobile property, or lodging accommodation in a hotel, boat, vessel, etc. Okay, so this rule will apply for both immobile property as well as for lodging accommodation. Now, this lodging accommodation could be in a hotel, boat, or vessel, anything. What happens if the supply of services relating to immobile property or lodging accommodation in a hotel, boat, vessel, or accommodation is in an immobile property for social, business, religious, or cultural functions? Okay, it could be either you're going using the immobile property or you're carrying on any of these social, business, or religious functions. If the location of that immobile property is in India, then the location of such immobile property will be the place of supply. How do you understand this? You understand that it is in relation to a place where you are having the office. Now, you are paying rent for that office. It is an immobile property. So where that property is located, that will be the place of supply. Okay, wherever the immobile property is located, that is the place of supply. And if that property is outside India, okay, now the location of supplier, we started that 12 comes in when the location of supplier and place of supply are in the within India. So location of supplier and place of supply are in India, and the property is located outside India. Will it be export? Will still not be export because the location of supplier and place of supply are in India. In such case, this 12.3 says the place of supply will be the location of the recipient. Wherever the location of the recipient is, wherever the recipient is located, that is the place of supply. Okay. Now, when you say in relation to, it covers wide spectrum of services. It covers the services of an architect also, because architect provides services in relation to an immobile property. Whenever any, we'll see in the next slide, various scenarios are coming in. Okay, wherein not only the rental, any services in relation to this immobile property will also be falling under this. Example, an architect who is rendering services of Australian property to an Indian company. So Indian company is here and the architect is here. He has to fly to Australia to provide the services, to design the structure there. So he's going there and the consuming state is there, right? But still it will be taxable in India because the location of supplier and place of supply is in India. Okay. Whether place of supply GST registration state will decide interstate or state? No. The IGST rules, Unikrishnan gives us this, and this is there for all the states. So wherever the location of supplier and place of supply is there, that will be the deciding factor. So if you are located in state A and the place of supply is also in state A, then it will be a intrastate supply. You are located in state A, and by determining these from the result of these rules, the place of supply is in state B, then it is an interstate supply. So the state doesn't decide, your location decides whether it is an interstate or intrastate. Okay, what all is covered? Anything which is directly in relation to an immobile property. I said you the examples of architects, interior designers, interior decorators, surveyors, engineers, and related experts, which is surveyor of a property. You'll have to get the property surveyed. So all this, and you have to call an engineer to design the layout plan. So surveyors, engineers, even though they are providing services, but what are they providing services to in relation to this immobile property? Okay, and estate agents, that is the brokers, the agents who help in providing the rentals, help in selling the properties, help in getting the tenants. They're all providing services in relation to such immobile property. So these are all examples of services in relation to an immobile property. Okay, then you have any kind of grant of rights. So any rights to use such immobile property. If you're giving exclusive rights to construct, you're giving exclusive right to take it on rent. All of such rights in relation to immobile property is also covered. Then lodging accommodation, we had said this example that hotels may, guest house, homestays. Now this doesn't get restricted to only properties which are on the land. It also includes to houseboats and any other vessels. Okay. Then accommodation in immobile property for organizing what this social cultural events, we said any kind of marriage activities or any services in relation to any function at such property is also covered. And then any ancillary services to this is also covered. So it's a wide spectrum. Anything to do with immobile property will get covered. Then instances when immobile property is located in more than one state, then proportion to the value of the service determined will be demarcated. Sometimes it is possible that you are having a property in Karnataka, you're having a property, it's like a accommodation property, a big hotel is there, you're having one property in Karnataka, one in Tamil Nadu. As a combined, you give the contract. Then in proportion to the value of the service what is provided, that will be demarcated on what state you have to charge it. लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट्स मीन सर्विस ऑफ प्रोवाइडर नहीं, लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट जो हमने डेफिनेशन में पढ़ा था, वेयर ही इज रजिस्टर्ड या फिर परमानेंट एस्टैब्लिशमेंट, दैट इज द लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट डेफिनेशन. Okay. Sometimes it is very confusing that what happens is the property is located in multiple states and you have given a contract and you have charging one fixed fees. Okay. You're saying that 1 lakh rupees, you can stay some nights in this property, which is in state Karnataka, and some nights in state Tamil Nadu, which is in a different state. So in that case, how do you apportion which state you have to charge what? That will be decided when the lodging is in a property located in multiple states, number of nights stayed in such property. So number of nights you stay in Karnataka and number of nights you stay in Tamil Nadu, you'll apportion on that basis. Then when the accommodation in immobile property is for organizing events or lodging where property is located in two contiguous states, मतलब आपके state के borders में है, then how is it decided? It is decided on the basis of area of immobile property lying in each state. If it's in a border state, so how much square feet is in this state and how much square feet is in that state? Based on that proportion, you will decide. And then when lodging is in a houseboat or vessel, time spent on the vessel in each state. Okay, because it's a houseboat, it will keep moving from one state to another state. If it's moving in only one state, that state. But if it's moving from coastal states of say Kerala to Tamil Nadu, so how much time you're spending on the vessel on each state, that will be the deciding factor. right? So the clarity is given to such extent that everything gets covered. Okay, so there'll not be any confusion. ठीक है, so इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी समझ में आ गया। जहां पे इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है वहां का ही प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई होगा, दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। Any doubts here? Rashmi, you are asking some doubts. I think you should clarify here, then we can proceed further.
यस सर, आई हैव डाउट कि एक तो है कि इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी जहाँ पे ये
Immobile property.
इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी जहाँ पे स्टेब्लिश है वहाँ पे हम प्लेस ऑफ सर्विस मानेंगे, और जो आउटसाइड इंडिया है जहाँ पे हम रिसीव कर रहे हैं, मीन्स
Correct.
मीन्स मतलब जहाँ पे हम सर्विस दे रहे हैं तो वहां पे मानेंगे जैसे आउटसाइड इंडिया, पर सेक्शन 12 ओनली टॉक्स अबाउट इन इंडिया।
करेक्ट। सो 12 क्या बोलता है, दोनों जगह बोलता है। फर्स्ट 12 के अंदर हम कब जाएंगे, तभी अंदर जाएंगे जब लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर एंड प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज इन इंडिया। ये बात फर्स्ट पकड़ लीजिए कि आप इंडिया में हो एज अ रिसीवर, ठीक है, आप कंज्यूमर हो, यू आर रिसीविंग सम सर्विस, और सर्विस प्रोवाइडर भी इंडिया में है, ठीक है। अगर
यस
दोनों इंडिया में है तब आप 12 के अंदर जाएंगे। करेक्ट। नाउ आप 12 के अंदर चले गए तो फिर टैक्स तो लगना ही है, ठीक है,
यस
क्योंकि अगर रिसिपेंट बाहर होता तो वो एक्सपोर्ट हो जाएगा, फिर जीएसटी तो नहीं लगेगा, क्योंकि सर्विसेज जो एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं उसके ऊपर टैक्स नहीं लगता है। लेकिन
यस
हमने यहाँ पे बोल दिया कि लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई और प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन इंडिया में, तो टैक्स तो लगेगा ही है। करेक्ट। अभी फिर इंडिया के अंदर भी छोटे छोटे इतने सारे इंडिया है, इतने छोटे छोटे स्टेट्स है ना, वो
यस
भी, उनको भी टैक्स जाना चाहिए। तो फिर स्टेट्स में लड़ाई हो जाएगी कि किसको टैक्स जाना चाहिए। तो उसके लिए अंदर आइए, अंदर आके क्या बोलता है, जब वो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी इंडिया में है, ठीक है, अगर
यस
इंडिया के अंदर है तो फिर आप कौन से स्टेट से हो?
मैं बिहार।
बिहार से। तो आपकी प्रॉपर्टी जो बिहार में है और मैं आके आपके प्रॉपर्टी में रहता हूं,
यस
ये इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी हो गई है।
यस
तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कहाँ हो गया?
बिहार।
बिहार। सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज इन बिहार। क्लियर है ये?
यस यस
अब इफ यू कम टू कर्नाटका, मैं मेरी जगह आपको दूंगा रेंट पे, तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या हो जाएगा?
कर्नाटका।
कर्नाटका। सो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज इन कर्नाटका, द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई मैं भी कर्नाटका में हूं, आप बिहार से आके यहाँ पे रुक रहे हो, तो फिर मैं क्या चार्ज करूंगा? मैं सप्लायर हूं एंड प्लेस।
हाँ, वो कर्नाटका का ही प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई
Correct.
है।
So location of supplier and place of supply is in Karnataka. This is an
यस
intrastate supply. GST SGST कर्नाटका का लगेगा,
यस सर।
ठीक है। अब हम दोनों इंडिया के अंदर है, आपने एकदम यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका व्हाइट हाउस के बगल में एक जगह ले ली है,
यस
और आप मुझे बोलते हो कि वहां पे जाके मेरा इंटीरियर डेकोरेटर करके आओ,
ओके।
ठीक है। तो मैं वहां पे जाके इंटीरियर डेकोरेशन करके आता हूँ। तो लोकेशन ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी कहाँ है? आउटसाइड इंडिया।
यस
लेकिन हम दोनों कहाँ पे हैं?
इंडिया।
विद इन इंडिया। तो फिर द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। रिसिपिएंट इसमें कौन रहा?
मैं
आप हो। आपकी जगह क्या है?
कर्नाटका।
आप कर्नाटका में कहाँ हो? आप तो बिहार में हो।
सर ऐसे एग्जाम्पल आप
हाँ?
बोल लेते ना, आप एग्जाम्पल दिए थे इसलिए बोली मैं।
अच्छा, तो आप कर्नाटका में हो, आप आगे हो,
सर
यहाँ भी
ऐसे मैं
चलेंगे।
दिल्ली, करेंटली इन दिल्ली में हूँ सर।
हाँ, तो आपका रिसिपिएंट का लोकेशन देखना पड़ेगा कि आप कहाँ पे हो। अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड बिहार में हो, राइट, सो देन दैट इज योर लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट, ठीक है। आप अगर रजिस्टर्ड बिहार में हो दैट इज योर लोकेशन ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट। आप बिहार में ही रहो जरूरी नहीं है, आप घूमने दिल्ली भी गए हो अभी, लेकिन
फिर
आपका लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट इज वेयर यू आर रजिस्टर्ड। हम ये अजम्पशन कर रहे हैं कि आप रजिस्टर्ड हो।
ओके
ठीक है, इसीलिए हमने पहले बताया था कि लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट का डेफिनेशन क्या है। इफ यू आर रजिस्टर्ड देन रजिस्टर्ड प्लेस, वरना फिर फिक्स एस्टेब्लिशमेंट है तो फिक्स एस्टेब्लिशमेंट। अगर आप अनरजिस्टर्ड हो तो फिर आप जनरली कहाँ पे रहते हो, वो हो गया आपका लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। ठीक है, लेकिन मूट क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे, जब आपकी प्रॉपर्टी यूएसए में है लेकिन लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर एंड लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट दोनों इंडिया में है, तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट, नॉट द प्रॉपर्टी विच इज आउटसाइड इंडिया।
सर, अगर इफ मैं यूएसए में होती तो?
अगर आप यूएसए में होते तो मैं 12 के अंदर नहीं घुसता, 13 के अंदर जाता। 13 बोलेगा कि इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी आउटसाइड इंडिया है, तो फिर वो एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस हो जाए।
सर यहाँ तो ये मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी आउटसाइड इंडिया तो है ही, यहाँ भी तो है, बस मतलब क्या मैं वहां पे नहीं हूँ ना।
आप देशद्रोही हो या
नहीं
देश,
सर।
आप इंडिया में रह के इंडिया को टैक्स नहीं भरोगे तो फिर यूएसए को भी नहीं भरोगे आप, तो फिर आप बच जाओगे दोनों के हाथ से। क्योंकि आप जब यूएसए में टैक्स पूछेंगे तो आप बोलोगे मैं तो इंडियन सिटीजन हूँ, और इंडियन को बोलोगे मैं तो फॉरेन में काम कर रही हूँ, तो दोनों जगह चकमा दे दोगे आप। तो इसीलिए वे, हम दोनों अगर इंडिया में है तो इंडिया में ही टैक्स जाएगा, नॉट वेयर द इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी इज लोकेटेड।
ओके सर।
थोड़ा अटपटा है, लेकिन जो हमारे दिमाग में उसको क्लियर करके पढ़ेंगे तो समझ में आ जाए।
सर आ गया बहुत, मैं भी क्लियर। थैंक यू सर।
यस पूजा।
जानना था कि ऐसी जाके इसमें क्या होगा?
आपका क्वेश्चन है?
ऐसी जेड में अगर प्रॉपर्टी हो तो
एसईजेड में अगर प्रॉपर्टी हो तो फिर क्या होता है, आईजीएसटी एक्ट में लिखा है कि जब आप कुछ भी सर्विसेज एसईजेड को प्रोवाइड करते हो तो फिर एसईजेड माना जाता है कि आउटसाइड इंडिया है। सो एनीथिंग, एनी सर्विस प्रोवाइडेड टू एसईजेड इज डीम्ड लाइक एन एक्सपोर्ट सर्विस इटसेल्फ। तो उसके ऊपर जीरो रेटेड सर्विस लगता है, तो फिर आप कुछ भी जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं करोगे।
सर मतलब उसमें ये अप्लाई नहीं होगा मतलब ऐसी जेड एरिया में
इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी एसईजेड में है।
जीरो। मैं ये जानना चाह रही हूँ सर कि जैसे जीरो रेट टैक्स लगेगा उसके ऊपर, तो वो इंट्रास्टेट मतलब लोकेशन, उसमें लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट क्या मतलब ये वाला आउटसाइड इंडिया मान के ये लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट वाला लगेगा?
नहीं, क्योंकि रिसिपेंट जो एसईजेड का यूनिट है वो भी एसईजेड के अंदर ही है, और इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी भी एसईजेड के अंदर ही है। करेक्ट, दोनों उसके अंदर है, तो फिर वो जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई माना जाएगा।
मतलब ये प्रोविजन उस पर अप्लाई नहीं होगा?
करेक्ट, ये प्रोविजन अप्लाई नहीं होगा, सेक्शन 13 के प्रोविजन अप्लाई। Okay. Nishtala, your question is what if recipient of services is unregistered and uses function hall out of that state? Very good. So if case of unregistered person, it is the place where the person normally resides. So his residential address will be the place of supply. Now he is using a function hall, right? But the recipient is unregistered and he is located in India. Now he is using a function hall. In this case, what is the relevance of location of recipient? In this immovable property case, location of recipient will not be relevant because the place of immovable property will be the place of supply. If he is outside India, then the location of recipient. If the property is located outside India, then the location of recipient will be relevant. So wherever they have mentioned location of recipient, it has to be read in full context. That is, when the property is located outside India, then location of recipient will be relevant. Otherwise, it will not be relevant. Unni Krishna, hope I've cleared it, Nishtala. Have you understood that? Unni Krishna's question is, if the supplier is situated in Kerala, property is in Karnataka, used by a customer who is situated in Delhi. The place of supply is Karnataka. Correct. So location of supplier Kerala, place of supply is Karnataka. You will charge IGST? Yes, you will charge IGST, and place of supply you will mention as Karnataka itself. So what invoice you raise to Delhi customer, you will raise to Delhi customer, place of supply will be Karnataka, and you will charge IGST. Because when you file the returns, when you make any interstate supply, you will also have to mention what is the place of supply. So there, since you're raising to Delhi, you cannot mention the place of supply as Delhi. You'll have to mention the place of supply as Karnataka itself. Okay. Now let's move on to the next service. This service, if you understood 12.3, then other services will be easy to understand because they are not that complicated. Now, in case of a restaurant and catering services or any kind of personal grooming, fitness, beauty, and health services, the place of supply of restaurant and catering services, etc., will be the location where services are actually performed, where you actually serve it. Like restaurant services, you come to the hotel and eat the food here. So place of service is at the restaurant itself. Even in case of a parcel or takeaway, you are delivering at your store itself, at your hotel itself. So the place of supply is where your restaurant is located. Also, for other grooming, beauty services, that is all services when the makeup artist. So if a makeup artist is there, that artist is moving to the place where the performance is carried out. Okay. So if it is a Bollywood actor, now that actor is moving from one state to another state for shooting, the makeup artist also goes there. So if the makeup artist goes to another state, then the place of supply will be the actual performance at which state it is being performed. Okay. Next, in case of a training and performance appraisal services, here B2B and B2C comes. So if you are providing training and performance appraisal services, say there's a skill development program for a company that all the employees have to undergo a skill development program. They take it to an offsite. Okay, company is located in Karnataka, but company is saying that no, don't provide their training services in our company. You go and provide it at a offsite, which is say in Goa. Okay, so if you go to Goa and provide it, but they have specifically said this is a B2B service, then the place of supply is the location of such person, not Goa, because it's a B2B supply. Even though you will provide in Goa, the benefit comes to the company. So the logic what we have that it be where it is performed, where it is actually consumed will not hold good. So you have to remember each of this service and the place of supply. So logically immovable property cases में वहां पे होना चाहिए ना, but training में जो दे रहा हूँ, of course the गोवा जो होटल लूंगा मैं वहां पे, that hotel will charge intrastate supply, but I'm not on that service. I'm talking about my training service. I am providing training to the company, benefit goes to the company, and section the rule says that if it is a B2B supply, the place of supply is the location of such person. Such person means the company who is receiving the service. Okay, so in such case the place of supply is the location of such person. And if it's a B2C supply, the place of supply where the is the place where the service is actually performed. If the company is not registered, then Goa will become the place of supply. समझे? So what is immovable property is different and training is different. Then service by way of admission to events. When we go to any events, sporting events, cultural events, entry fees जो लगता है, the entry fees is decided based on what? When the service is provided by way of admission to amusement park or services ancillary to above services, the place of service will be the place where the event is actually held or where the park or such other places located. जब आप यहाँ से जाते हो, बड़ा सा मुंबई में है ना एड लैब्स, व्हेन यू गो टू एड लैब्स, एंट्री कहाँ का है? एड लैब्स के अंदर का है. वेयर इज एड लैब्स लोकेटेड? इन मुंबई. सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज मुंबई. सर सप्लायर इज लोकेटेड इन कर्नाटका, go sold goods to Kerala customer. Goods के लिए it's separate. Don't mix goods over here. For goods we have already seen section 10. Anyways, your question is if the supplier is located in Karnataka, sold goods to Kerala customer. As per his instructions, goods sent to Karnataka. In this case, place of supply is Karnataka or Kerala. It is always the place where the recipient is there, not the receiver of goods. Delivery of the goods will not matter. Bill to ship to transaction Unni Krishnan will be the place. The place of supply will be the place where you bill it to. Okay. Supplier is in Karnataka. He is supplying it to Kerala and delivering it to Karnataka. So the place of supply is Kerala. It is an interstate transaction. Okay. Which government will get? In case of IGST, Kerala will get the tax. Because IGST Karnataka will not collect, will not retain it, it will collect it, but it will give to the IGST and mention place of supply as Kerala. So IGST will flow to the Kerala government only. Clear? Okay, service of admission of events is the event where it is conducted. Then organization of events, what is entry? Now this is organizing an event. If you are organizing an event, if the recipient is registered, then the location of the recipient is the place of supply. If the event is held in more than one state and if a consolidated amount is charged, then place of supply is deemed in each of the respective state in proportion to the value of service. जैसे एक ऑर्गेनाइजिंग इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी, अब उसको बोलते हो मेरे को 3 स्टेट्स में एक लॉन्च करना है, प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च, तो आप तीनों स्टेट का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट उसको देते हो, देन एक एक स्टेट का जो वैल्यू डिटरमाइन करेगा, ऑन दैट प्रोपोर्शन यू विल चार्ज द रेस्पेक्टिव जीएसटी. इन केस ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है तो फिर व्हाट इज योर जनरली एक्सेप्टेड प्रिंसिपल्स, अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स दैट विल बी फॉलोड. And if you're organizing an event in India or outside India, if the recipient is unregistered, अगर recipient registered है, then the location of recipient ही है क्योंकि benefit recipient को मिल रहा है. If the recipient is unregistered and the event is in India, then the location where the event is held. If the event is outside India, again immovable property की तरह location of the recipient. Clear? Then in case of transportation of goods, including mail or courier. जो courier services है, courier services का place of supply है where the location of such person is located. जब मैं courier company जाता हूँ और बोलता हूँ यहाँ से वहां courier करो, वहां से यहाँ courier करो, यहाँ से हर स्टेट में courier करो, the place of supply is not that respective states. Delivery वहां पे होता है लेकिन बेनिफिट किसको मिल रहा है? मुझे मिल रहा है. तो द पर्सन वेयर आई एम लोकेटेड, द पर्सन हु इज गिविंग हिम दिस सर्विस, हु इज गिविंग हिम द मनी टू प्रोवाइड दिस सर्विस, दैट इज द माय लोकेशन इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. Okay. However, where such services are provided to unregistered person, the place of supply is the location where the goods are handed over. Normal customer comes in, GST registered नहीं है, अब I will take the where the goods are handed over, that will be the place of supply. If the goods are transported outside India, then the destination of such goods is the place of supply. So this is the only one exception कि outside India भी हो सकता है when the goods are transported outside India. ठीक है. Let's move to passenger transport service. Passenger transport service means जब आप बस में ट्रेन सफर करते हो या any kind of passenger transport service where the recipient is registered, then the location of the recipient. It includes passenger transport service and also issue of right to passage for future use and the point of boarding not known at the time of right to passage. मतलब आपको पास दिया जाता है. You can travel in any location. So you're getting a right to travel at a future date also. In that case, it will be location of the recipient. And where the recipient is unregistered, location where the passenger embarks on the conveyance, मतलब कहाँ से उसकी चढ़ाई होती है, कहाँ से उसका journey शुरू होता है, that will be the place of supply. If the address of the unregistered person is available, then the location of such unregistered person. In all other cases, the location of supplier of service. कहाँ पे? In this case. In case of passenger transport service, जहाँ पे चढ़ता है, in case of issue of passage for future use, ये conditions apply हो जाएंगे. Rashmi, your question is, I belong from Bihar but currently in 10th year in Delhi and booked hotel for party. Then place of supply considered Bihar. आप एंट्री कहाँ पे ले रहे हो पार्टी के लिए? दिल्ली में ले रहे हो. ठीक है. आप होटल कहाँ पे बुक कर रहे हो? दिल्ली में बुक कर रहे हो. ठीक है. तो फिर आप कौन सी सर्विस की बात कर रहे हो? आप बात कर रहे हो होटल क्या चार्ज करेगा? होटल विल ऑलवेज चार्ज, इट इज एन इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी सर्विस. तो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी सर्विस आपको will be from the place where that immobile property is located. तो होटल आपको इंट्रास्टेट सप्लाई के हिसाब से बुक करेगा. Okay, this is a typical question, Uni Krishnan. Tamil Nadu situated supplier. So supplier is situated in Tamil Nadu. Provides services on immobile property in Karnataka, which is used by Tamil Nadu customer. In this case, what is the place of supply? Place of supply is Karnataka itself because it is an immobile property. So you got the answer. Next, services supplied on board a conveyance. Okay, we read about goods supplied on board a conveyance. Now, what happens if case of services provided on board a conveyance? For goods supplied, we know where the location of the goods are boarded. But in case of location services supplied on board a conveyance, location of the first scheduled point of departure. गुड्स तो आप कहीं पे भी चढ़ा रहे हो, तो जहां पे आप चढ़ाते हो दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. बट इन केस ऑफ सर्विसेज, इट विल नॉट बी द प्लेस वेयर यू आर ऑनबोर्डिंग इट. इट बी द प्लेस ऑफ द फर्स्ट शेड्यूल्ड पॉइंट ऑफ डिपार्चर, जहां से सफर शुरू होता है, दैट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. एंड हियर ऑल्सो नो डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन रजिस्टर्ड और अनरजिस्टर्ड, सभी के लिए एक ही है. देन 1211 टॉक्स अबाउट टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज. क्या बोलता है टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज? Is issue of right of passage same as pre-booking, sir? No. In case of pre-booking, what is happening? It's a passenger transport. In case of uh, right of passage, you don't know where you will give it, right? It's like a general thing. So right of passage is different and passenger transport is different. To do a pre-booking, that is also a passenger transportation, because you know from the pre-booking from which place to which place you will go. That is a passenger transport. Right of passage for future uses, when you get a right to travel across multiple places, that is right of passage. टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज जो आपके फिक्स्ड लाइन है, लैंडलाइन है, लीज लाइन है, केबल और डिश टीवी है, द लोकेशन वेयर द टेलीकम्युनिकेशन लाइट, लीज सर्क्यूट और केबल कनेक्शन इज इंस्टॉल्ड, जहां पे इंस्टॉल्ड है, दैट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. इन केस ऑफ स्पेसिफिकली पोस्ट पेड मोबाइल कनेक्शन एंड इंटरनेट सर्विसेज, ये इंटरनेट लीज लाइन है एंड दिस इज जनरल इंटरनेट. ठीक है, जो नॉर्मल पोस्ट पेड और इंटरनेट लीज इंटरनेट सर्विसेज हैं, लोकेशन ऑफ बिलिंग एड्रेस ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट, वेदर वो रजिस्टर्ड हो या अनरजिस्टर्ड हो, उसका एड्रेस तो रहेगा जहां पे आप बिल करते हो. ठीक है, दैट एड्रेस इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. इफ द एड्रेस नहीं है तो फिर लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर ऑफ सर्विस. ठीक है, दैट इज फॉर पोस्ट पेड. और प्रीपेड डीटीएच, जहां पे आप रिचार्ज करते हो, कूपन वगैरह करते हो, किसके थ्रू करेंगे? जनरली सेलिंग एजेंट या रीसेलर या डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर. तो फिर दैट एड्रेस ऑफ द सेलिंग एजेंट, सेलर और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर एट द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. बिकॉज हर कोई आपको आके ढूंढ नहीं सकता आप कहां से रजिस्टर्ड हो. दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव कम आउट विद अ सॉल्यूशन सेइंग दैट दैट एजेंट, वेयर दैट एजेंट इज लोकेशन, ही इज अल्टीमेटली सप्लाइंग टू यू, दैट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. Okay. Another kind of telecommunication services, पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट को हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करना है. ओके, पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट मतलब आप जब भी कुछ सफर करते हो, ठीक है, एनी काइंड ऑफ पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट सर्विसेज. ठीक है, तो फिर लोकेशन ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट जो है, इसमें हर कोई पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट कवर हो जाता है रश्मि. जैसे आप फ्लाइट में जा रहे हो, ट्रेन में जा रहे हो, ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ दिस इज पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट सर्विसेज, क्योंकि ये क्या करते हैं? पैसेंजर्स को ट्रांसपोर्ट करते हैं. वेयर आप रजिस्टर्ड हो, ठीक है, तो फिर आपका जो जगह है वो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई हो जाएगा. जैसे फ्लाइट की कंपनी दिल्ली में है, आप अभी अगर आपका रजिस्टर्ड प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस है कोलकाता, तो कोलकाता is the place of supply, even though you are booking a flight from, say, Jammu to Rajasthan. That will not be determining factor, क्योंकि आप registered हो, then आपकी place where you are registered, that will be the place of supply. और अगर आप unregistered हो, then the location where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey, आप जहां पे start करते हो journey, that will be the place of supply. तो आप रजिस्टर्ड हो तो फिर आपको बेनिफिट मिलेगा. अगर अनरजिस्टर्ड हो, वैसे भी बेनिफिट आप नहीं ले रहे हो, तो फिर वो स्टेट को जाएगा जहां से वो उड़ान शुरू होती है. ठीक है, दैट इज ऑन पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट. अभी ये खत्म हो गया. सेकेंड पार्ट देखिए, जहां पे आपको एक राइट दिया जाता है फॉर पैसेज, टू पैसेज फॉर फ्यूचर यूज एंड पॉइंट ऑफ बोर्डिंग इज नॉट नोन. तो आप कहां से शुरू करोगे ये पता नहीं है, तब कौन सा प्लेस होगा? क्योंकि इनवॉइस तो रेस कर दिया है, करेक्ट, इन पर्सनल केस. इन पर्सनल केस में रश्मि क्या होगा, वेयर द ये हो जाएगा, इफ इट इज अनरजिस्टर्ड, तो फिर आप कहाँ से फ्लाइट शुरू करते हो या कहाँ से ट्रेन की जर्नी शुरू होती है, दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। ठीक है। प्रीपेड सर्विसेज, लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विसेज इन द रिकॉर्ड्स, तो रिचार्ज करते हो उसका अलग है। फिर सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड टू एनी पर्सन टू फाइनल कंज्यूमर, लोकेशन वेयर सच प्री पेमेंट इज रिसीव्ड, तो जहां पे प्री पेमेंट रिसीव होता है वो है। और दूसरे प्रीपेड सर्विसेज, द पेमेंट फॉर विच इज मेड थ्रू इंटरनेट बैंकिंग, देन द लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विसेज इन द रिकॉर्ड्स, क्योंकि आप इंटरनेट से पे करोगे तो फिर आपका लोकेशन पता चल जाएगा, दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। इन ऑल अदर केसेस द एड्रेस ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट एज पर द रिकॉर्ड्स and the location of supplier services if the address is not available, अगर address है then that will be the place of supply, अगर address नहीं है then the location of supplier। थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है टेलीकम्युनिकेशन, उसके अलावा आई थिंक अदर थिंग्स आर क्लियर। देन फाइनेंशियल एंड स्टॉक ब्रोकिंग सर्विसेज, जो फाइनेंशियल और स्टॉक ब्रोकिंग सर्विसेज है उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है, द रिसिपिएंट डिटेल्स आर अगेन अवेलेबल, तो फिर लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट, इफ द लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट इज नॉट अवेलेबल देन द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई। ठीक है। तो मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस इट इज दैट द पर्सन इज रजिस्टर्ड, उसका मिलेगा, या फिर पर्सन इज address are available then the location of recipient, if not the location of supplier. Similarly, in case of insurance services provided to registered person, then the location of recipient, provided to unregistered person, location of recipient of the services on the records of the supplier of services, क्योंकि आप इंश्योरेंस किसको दे रहे हो आपको एड्रेस तो पता होना चाहिए, करेक्ट, तो फिर इसीलिए उसका प्लेस कहाँ पे है, दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। देन एडवर्टाइजमेंट सर्विसेज टू द गवर्नमेंट, जब कुछ एडवर्टाइजमेंट सर्विस करते हो और आप गवर्नमेंट के स्कीम्स जो है पूरे इंडिया में फैले रहते हैं, जैसे बेटी पढ़ाओ बेटी बचाओ, ये जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट है वो गवर्नमेंट अगर किसी को देता है तब एडवर्टाइजमेंट एजेंसी कुछ चार्जेस कलेक्ट करेगा। तब उसके लिए क्या है, जब एडवर्टाइजमेंट सर्विसेज आर इन्वॉल्विंग dissemination of the material supplied to the government or a statutory body will be the location of such dissemination, जहां जहां पे आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हो that will be the place of supply। जैसे गवर्नमेंट ने बोल दिया कि 1 लाख बैनर्स ने इस स्टेट में कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा करना है क्योंकि इससे हमको क्या चाहिए, वोट्स चाहिए, करेक्ट। तो जो जो स्टेट में वो स्पेशल कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते हैं उसके प्रोपोर्शन ज्यादा रहेंगे, दूसरे स्टेट्स के प्रोपोर्शन कम रहेंगे। then where it is identifiable to a specific state कि मलयालम में ही लिखो, तो वो कहाँ पे जाएगा, केरला में ही जाएगा। सो व्हेन इट इज स्पेसिफिकली आइडेंटिफाइबल टू अ स्पेसिफिक स्टेट कि आप जो जो ये एडवर्टाइजमेंट है सिर्फ केरला में करो, इस लैंग्वेज में करो, तो स्पेसिफिकली वो कहाँ पे टारगेट कर रहा है, उस स्टेट में टारगेट कर रहा है, देन दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। जहां पे ऐसे स्पेशलाइज्ड है ना, तो फिर वो उस स्टेट का प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई हो जाएगा। And where it is disseminated over number of states, then each of such states are union territories where the advertisement is broadcasted, run, played or disseminated। जहां जहां भी disseminate करते हैं वो हो जाएगा place of supply। तो इसका प्रोपोर्शन जो है रूल 3 में बोलता है, रूल 3 इज जनरली सेइंग दैट जो प्रोपोर्शनेट है वैल्यू है उसके ऊपर आपको जीएसटी चार्ज करना। बिहार एक बार मोदी सरकार अप्लीकेबल ऑल स्टेट इन इंडिया, समझे नहीं आपका, आप जोक बोल रहे हो या क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो। फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार, करेक्ट। ये काफी चला था, सो ये क्या हो जाएगा, एडवर्टाइजमेंट ऑल अक्रॉस स्टेट, सो इट विल बी एप्लीकेबल ऑल स्टेट इन इंडिया, राइट। ओके, नाउ विल गेट इनटू इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई। यहां तक कुछ डाउट है, सो दैट वी कैन क्लैरिफाई।
सर
यस मैडम।
सर मुझे ये जानना था कि जैसे मान लो मैं मतलब मान लो कि ट्रेन से सफर करना है, तो अगर हरियाणा से मान लो दिल्ली जाना है, बीच में दूसरा स्टेट भी पड़ता है मान लो,
ठीक है।
तो उस केस में मान लो डायरेक्ट अगर टिकट नहीं मिलती है, बीच में दूसरी टिकट लेके फिर वो करेंगे तो मतलब, और बीच में फिर हम अगर सर्विस लेते हैं तो कौन सा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई माना जाएगा?
क्या सर्विस?
सर मान लो कि हम ट्रेन से सफर करना है हरियाणा से दिल्ली, बीच में एक और स्टेट आ रहा है, एग्जाम्पल के लिए यूपी आ रहा है, तो उस केस में हमें डायरेक्टली टिकट नहीं मिल रही है हरियाणा से दिल्ली के लिए, तो हमने पहले यूपी की टिकट ली, देन यूपी से हमने दिल्ली की टिकट ली, तो उस केस में मान लो हमने यूपी से दिल्ली के बीच में जो सफर जो भी मतलब उस केस में हमने कोई भी सर्विस ली है, तो उस केस में क्या प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई होगा सर?
तो उसके लिए हम ये स्लाइड में जाएंगे जहां पे हमने लिखा है प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन केस ऑफ on board a conveyance where the service is supplied on board a conveyance, location of the first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance। जो आप सेकेंड सफर कर रहे हो यूपी से दिल्ली, ठीक है, अगर वो ट्रेन यूपी से शुरू होती है, उसका फर्स्ट शेड्यूल डिपार्चर यूपी से है, तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई यूपी हो जाएगा। लेकिन लेकिन अगर वो कंटिन्यू स्टार्टिंग ट्रेन नहीं है, या कंटिन्यूस ट्रेन है जो चलती है हमारे स्टेट से, ठीक है, अगर ये ट्रेन बैंगलोर से दिल्ली जाती है और रास्ते में आपको यूपी पड़ता है, ठीक है, तो आपका सर्विस जो आपने बैंगलोर तो आए ही नहीं हो, ठीक है, लेकिन द फर्स्ट शेड्यूल पॉइंट ऑफ डिपार्चर ऑफ दिस जर्नी वॉज बैंगलोर, तो इसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बैंगलोर हो जाएगा, कर्नाटक।
मतलब जहां से ट्रेन चलेगी वो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई माना जाएगा?
करेक्ट, करेक्ट। फर्स्ट शेड्यूल पॉइंट ऑफ डिपार्चर, उस ट्रेन का शेड्यूल डिपार्चर पॉइंट क्या है, कर्नाटक, तो कर्नाटक हो जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। गुड क्वेश्चन। देन ईच स्टेट बिकम्स प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, यस। फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार, ईच स्टेट बिकम्स द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, यू आर राइट। So one thing you understand, if the place of supply is different state, does it mean you have to take registration in every state? जब हमने प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई डिसाइड कर लिया कि मल्टीपल स्टेट्स है, तो इसका मतलब ये हो जाएगी कि हमको हर एक स्टेट में रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना पड़ेगा।
यस सर।
हर एक स्टेट में अगर लेना पड़ेगा, तो मैं एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट कंपनी हूँ, मैं हूँ दिल्ली में, गवर्नमेंट मुझे कहता है बैनर पूरे इंडिया में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करो, मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दूंगा। तो फिर हर स्टेट में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करता हूँ, तो मुझे हर स्टेट में रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना पड़ेगा।
जो रजिस्ट्रेशन इज डिपेंड ऑन द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ना सर, कि जहाँ जिस स्टेट में सप्लाई करते हो वहाँ पे कंपल्सरी होता है रजिस्ट्रेशन करना।
तो आप बिहार से आपका बिजनेस एक्सपैंड कर रहे हो, ठीक है। आप हो सप्लायर ऑफ वेरी फेमस प्रोडक्ट, ठीक है। आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो कर्नाटक में, आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो तमिलनाडु में, आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो जम्मू में, और आप सप्लाई कर रहे हो, आप बिहार में भी सप्लाई कर रहे हो। तो बिहार में तो रजिस्ट्रेशन लोगे ही। तो अगर आप बैंगलोर सप्लाई कर रहे हो तो आप कर्नाटक में आके रजिस्ट्रेशन लोगे। तो फिर जीएसटी का क्या फायदा होगा? सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज टू डिटरमाइन व्हाट जीएसटी यू विल चार्ज, ठीक है। प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, आप कौन सा जीएसटी चार्ज करोगे ये डिसाइड करने के लिए प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है। आपको हर एक स्टेट में जाके रजिस्ट्रेशन करने की जरूरत नहीं। आप बिहार में बैठ के कर्नाटक में सप्लाई कर सकते हो। तो फिर जब आप कुछ मुझे सप्लाई करते हो, आप यहाँ पे आके रजिस्ट्रेशन लोगे, तो फिर वो दिक्कत हो जाएगा। तो आप वहीं से बैठ के मेरे गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स दे सकते हो। कैसे? आप आईजीएसटी चार्ज करोगे और प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई रखोगे कर्नाटक, वो कर्नाटक को टैक्स आ जाएगा। तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई रजिस्ट्रेशन लेने के लिए नहीं है, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कौन सा टैक्स चार्ज करना है वो डिसाइड करने की, ठीक है।
तो इन केस आई हैव डाउट कि जैसे एनी कंस्ट्रक्शन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आई live in Delhi and provide service in Delhi, but I want to take a registration in Bihar. Can take registration in Bihar and provide service in Delhi?
Immovable property is located in Delhi. You
नहीं,
located in Delhi.
अच्छा, ओके ओके, हाँ, यस सर।
So you cannot go to all over India and take registration. You will sit in one state and provide services all in India, but you will provide GST to the government through charging IGST of that respective state by underlying and reading the section 12 and deciding what is the place of supply, but you will not go to each state and register. Okay, so no separate registration is required. When separate registration will required? When you want to set up something in another state. Just for registration, don't come to my state. If you want to do business in my state, then you come to my state and take registration. Okay.
सर माय क्वेश्चन इज कि मतलब मैं तो रहती हूँ दिल्ली में, पर मैं सर्विस भी यहीं से प्रोवाइड कर रही हूँ, दिल्ली में प्रोवाइड कर रही हूँ, पर सम रीजन जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेने में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, तो अपने प्रॉपर्टी पे बिहार से लेके यहाँ से सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर सकती हूँ, क्या ये अप्रोप्रिएट होगा, ये मैं पूछ रही हूँ।
नहीं नहीं, इफ यू हैव आपका एड्रेस बिहार में है तो फिर आपका लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर जो है बिहारी हो जाएगा, बिकॉज बिहार का जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट दिल्ली वाले पर्सन को रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं दे सकता, ठीक है। आपका एड्रेस बिहार में है तो आपका लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर जो है वो बिहारी कहा जाएगा, क्योंकि बिहार को दूसरे स्टेट के एड्रेस वाले को रजिस्ट्रेशन देने की पावर्स नहीं है। तो आप अगर दिल्ली में हो, आपको दिल्ली में ही रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना पड़ेगा।
इफ एड्रेस इज बिहार का है फिर भी?
बिहार का है तो फिर दिल्ली वाला रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं देगा।
सर दिल्ली वाला नहीं, प्रोवाइड तो यहाँ से करूंगी क्योंकि यही हूँ, सर्विस प्रोवाइड यहाँ से करूंगी।
आप प्रोवाइड वहां से कर रहे हो, आप इसे सोच रहे हो,
यस।
लेकिन आप वहां से प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, उसके लिए प्रूफ क्या है? रजिस्ट्रेशन।
यस।
रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए प्रूफ क्या है? दैट यू शुड हैव सम एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इन दिल्ली, करेक्ट। तो वहां पे आप क्या लोगे? आप सर्विस तो घर से भी प्रोवाइड कर सकते हो या फिर ऑफिस से भी प्रोवाइड करते हो, लेकिन रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए यू नीड टू हैव सफिशिएंट प्रूफ ऑफ अ एस्टैब्लिशमेंट। तो आप
Yes.
अगर दिल्ली में हो तो दिल्ली में आप यू विल टेक सम प्लेस ऑन रेंट.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
rental agreement will become a proof to state that you are providing the service from Delhi.
Yes.
So you are providing service from Delhi. You have to take registration in Delhi only. बिहार आपकी जन्मभूमि हो गई और दिल्ली आपकी कर्मभूमि होगी.
Yes.
So you have to take registration from Delhi only.
Okay.
Okay. So let's proceed further. थोड़े slides ही बचे हैं. Telecommunication service, all this we have understood. Now, what is the interstate supply? Where the supply happens in the course of interstate trade or commerce, it's a interstate supply. Basically, what it says, where the supply of goods or services, where the location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states. And if it is in same state, it is intrastate. If it is in different state, it is interstate. That is either two different states or two different union territories or one state to another state. It is a interstate supply. Then supply in the taxable territory, not an interstate supply and not specified elsewhere. मतलब कुछ तो आप गोचू कर रहे हो जिससे ना तो वो इंटरस्टेट है ना तो वो इंट्रास्टेट है ना तो इन कैटेगरी में फंस रहा है. तो फिर आप ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते हो कि इसका डेफिनेशन नहीं है तो आई विल नॉट पे एनी टैक्स. इसीलिए दिस इज अ प्रोटेक्टिव क्लॉज जो बोलता है ना तो आप इंट्रास्टेट प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो ना तो इन तीन कैटेगरी में है, दैट विल ऑल्सो बी एन इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई. देन इंट्रास्टेट सप्लाई वेयर सब्जेक्ट टू द प्रोविजंस ऑफ सेक्शन. अच्छा हम लोग यही भूल गए ना मेजर वाला जो हम छूट गए थे. कौन सा भूल गए हम? जो हमने कहा था कि लास्ट में पढ़ेंगे, दैट इज 12(3) to 14 अगर नहीं लागू होता है, इफ यू आर नॉट हैविंग एनी ऑफ दो स्पेसिफिक कैटेगरीज, देन यू हैव टू कम टू 12(2). व्हाट डज 12(2) टेल? द जनरल रूल. द रूल प्रोवाइड्स दैट द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज व्हिच इज मेड टू अ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन is the location of the person receiving the services. If you're supplying a service like a chartered accountant service हो गया, वो उस सभी कैटेगरीज में नहीं था. It has not come in any of those categories under 12(3) to 12(14). So if you are supplying to a registered person, then the location of the person receiving the service, location of the person receiving the service मतलब जहां पे वो registered है, that will become the location of the person receiving the service. And if you are supplying to an unregistered person, then location of such unregistered person if address is available. If address is not available, then the location of supplier. So if a chartered accountant provides services to a registered unit in Apna Assam, then the place of supply will become Assam. Now, Assam person is coming to me taking ITR filing services and he is unregistered, but he's given his address to me. ठीक है, क्योंकि उसका ITR फाइल करता है तो उसका एड्रेस मैंने ले लिया है. So then place of supply will become Assam. Now he's come to me and he's just taken a certification and he did not give address. ठीक है भाई, मैं आपका एड्रेस तो दो. नहीं नहीं मैं चलता हूँ, चला गया. ठीक है, मुझे पता नहीं कहाँ था, मैंने गलती से उसका सिर्फ एडमिट फॉर्म करना था, बाकी मैं ऐसे हर किसी को साइन करके नहीं देता हूँ. उसका सिर्फ एडमिट फॉर्म करना था तो मैंने प्रूफ देके कर दिया. अब उसका लोकेशन मुझे पता नहीं है, तो फिर गवर्नमेंट क्या बोलती है, उसका तो गया, लेकिन आपका लोकेशन तो आपको पता है, आप CGST SGST चार्ज करके गवर्नमेंट को पैसा जमा कर. ठीक है, दैट इज द जनरल रूल. When all other rules fail, then you have to come to the general rule. So we understood place of supply of goods, place of supply of services. We understood what is an interstate supply, what is an intrastate supply, and now what is an interstate supply. Interstate supply is where the supply of goods, where the location of supplier and place of supply are in the same state or same union territory, shall be treated as an interstate supply, provided the following supply of goods shall not be treated as an intrastate supply. यहाँ पे किसी का डाउट था SEZ, supply of goods to or by a SEZ developer or a SEZ is not an intrastate, तो हमेशा interstate होगा. फिर goods imported is always interstate. अगर within the same state करते हो तब भी interstate ही है. Supplies made to a tourist is also an interstate. फिर supply subject to the provisions of 2, supply of services where the location of supplier and place of services are in the same state or in a union territory shall be treated as an intrastate supply. So location of supplier and place of supply दोनों एक ही स्टेट में सब intrastate supply होगा. Provide that intrastate supply of services shall not include a supply of services to or by a SEZ developer or SEZ unit. आपका स्टेट कर्नाटका है, कर्नाटका के अंदर ही SEZ है, फिर भी वो इंट्रास्टेट नहीं कहा जाएगा, दैट विल ऑलवेज बी इंटरस्टेट. ये ठीक है, ये थोड़ा एक्सप्लेनेशन है. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पे दैट एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इन इंडिया एंड एनी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया, एस्टैब्लिशमेंट इन अ स्टेट एंड एनी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट आउटसाइड द स्टेट विल ऑलवेज बी ट्रीटेड एज अ डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन. ठीक है, मतलब आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन यहाँ पे है और बाहर एक और स्टेट है जहां पे आपका ब्रांच है, तो एक स्टेट और दूसरे स्टेट के बीच इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज अ इन सब ट्रीटेड एज एन एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ अ डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन. और विद इन द स्टेट भी अगर आपने 2 रजिस्ट्रेशन ले लिए हैं तब इन दोनों यूनिट के बीच में भी जो सप्लाई होगा वो इंटरस्टेट होगा. लेकिन ये दोनों ब्रांचेस का एक ही रजिस्ट्रेशन है देन इट इज नॉट अ सप्लाई. अगर सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन विद इन द स्टेट है देन इट इज अ 2 डिफरेंट यूनिट्स. तो आपको एक यूनिट से दूसरे यूनिट कुछ भी सप्लाई करोगे तो आपको जीएसटी चार्ज करना पड़ेगा. दे आर ट्रीटेड एज एन एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ अ डिस्टिंक्ट पर्सन. दोनों का पैन एक ही है, दोनों का बैलेंस शीट एक ही बनता है, लेकिन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर जीएसटी पर्पसेस यू आर 2 डिफरेंट यूनिट्स इफ यू हैव 2 डिफरेंट रजिस्ट्रेशंस इन अ स्टेट. देन सप्लाईज इन टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स, जो आप टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स में सप्लाई करते हो उसका जीएसटी कहां पे जाएगा? Where the location of supplier is in a territorial waters, the location of such supplier, or where the place of supply is in a territorial waters, the place of supply shall be deemed to be the coastal state or the union territory which is the nearest point of the appropriate baseline. ठीक है, आप क्या कर रहे हो? आज सप्लाई कर रहे हो बॉम्बे हाई में. जो बॉम्बे हाई है उसका नियरेस्ट प्रॉक्सिमल स्टेट कौन सा है? बॉम्बे, विच इज महाराष्ट्र. तो बॉम्बे हाई से जो भी सप्लाई होगा उसका जीएसटी जाएगा दैट स्टेट विच इज द महाराष्ट्र स्टेट. दैट इज व्हाट दिस सेक्शन 9 इज सेइंग. So that was all with respect to place of supply. Very clearly we understood. Now you have to apply some practical scenarios, go through your books and understand the problems. Then your aspect and your knowledge will be crystal clear. Okay. There are no queries. Can we wind up? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Keep asking questions. Don't keep your questions in your mind. Even if they are silly questions, please open up and ask. A lot of people I'm seeing, they're not asking questions. Do ask your questions. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nishtala. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.